You don't sit at a negotiation table and tell others what to do or what not to do. You negotiate, you listen, you work a solution out, and usually that solution, inevitably, in my experience has been, it has to be a win. If there's two people, it's got to be a win. If there's three people, it's got to be a win. If there's four people. There can be no losers in the negotiation.
I agree, but they're not gonna step on it and not be hurt.
I understand that, Councillor, and I think that we've done that extremely well thus far, and we will continue to do so.
Okay, thank you.
I welcome your passion. Councillor Carr, please.
Thank you, Worship. I think, if you can look at some of the positive things that come out of situations like this, I think for the community to come together as quickly as it did and to react to the situation the way it has without losing its temper. Staying cool and calm. I think we've got a great team together to go in and negotiate with the parties who are involved. There's a couple of things I'd like to ask. When we talk about leases, and at the waterfront right now, there's that long warehouse that's been a contention for many people. And when people talk about a development of condos down by the waterfront, that's one of the, they see as a barrier and would like to have it removed. And does that belong to the federal government? Can someone else?
My understanding of that also is a lease between Transport Canada and another proponent.
So there's another lease there. Maybe that's a lease we can get a look at and compare it to the lease that's, because I understand it's a local businessman who has that lease. I think he should be contacted so we can get some information from that lease.
It's a good suggestion.
And when we talk about divestiture and the March 31st deadline, is that a commitment that you can get out of if you do in fact apply? Is that binding?
Well, my understanding is that it's not binding until such a time as you actually sign on the dotted line.
So we could have discussions with MCA so that thing doesn't pass us by.
I expect so. We'll know better certainly with the information we'll get tomorrow, receive tomorrow, and in the presence of our legal counsel for that dissemination.
I think we're going the right way. I personally witnessed you negotiate with both federal and provincial government ministries in the past, and I know that's one of the strengths that you have as our leader, and I have complete confidence in you doing that. And I think we have to make sure we do not lose our temperature. We do not let our temperatures rise, but at the same time we don't lose our temper. I think Chuck, in the very beginning, when that meeting was held at the gates of where the facility is, that was one of the things that came out very strong. We're going to be able to talk to one another to have this issue resolved. And I think Cornwall can demonstrate that, we've said we're not going to be pushed around anymore. We are a very progressive, positive city, and we are not going to, put up with things like that without fighting the best way we can. And I think that's a positive statement about the city, and I think it's important that we get that message out to all levels of government. And I look forward to updates on this particular issue, and you have my support, but I will be making a motion that we reaffirm our position that there are no tax on the waterfront lands. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Carr. Thank you for your confidence, and I will draw on every ounce of energy that I have, and maybe more importantly, all of the experiences I've had, and if I have any, whatever amount of wisdom I might have, I hope that it becomes increasingly evident through this experience on behalf of the residents of Cornwall. Anyone else in the second round? Councillor Gardner, followed by Councillor Flynn, please.
We spoke about the lease early on, and it seems to me that if we don't see that lease, and we're going to be transferring chloride from probably ship or trucks into tanks, who's liable for any leakage that might happen either in the waterfront or on the land? And noting that we had to clean up that area when the last tanks were there because it was the land was toxic. That's number one. I'd like to know